Hello and welcome to the Drunkduck Quackcast. I'm Ozone Ocean, and with me is Tantz, and Baines.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Okay, this is Quackcast number 651. Oh my god. The subject today is talking about strong characters of any gender. That's pretty much what our main topic is, but we're also going to talk about the Drunkduck Awards, bit that Baines and Tantz are involved in. Peripherally, I think you guys aren't involved in judging. You're involved in like red carpet awards and stuff like that, red carpet presentation and things.
Yeah.
Mostly
right.
as a fan. Peripheral involvement.
So we've got to introduce the featured comic now. So I'm actually going to talk about the featured comic, which is Oblique. So I'm going to talk about that now. Hello, I'm Ozone Ocean, and my feature for the week was Oblique. A group of people wake from cryosleep to find themselves stranded in a strange place with no memory of how they got there or even their own names. They have to work together fast or they might not survive. This is an effective dramatic sci-fi mystery story with a dash of comedic pathos thrown in. The art is spare and simplified and does a great job of telling this stripped down, tight story. It has a very closed-in, claustrophobic feel with more than a hint of desperation. It has Gene Joke's classic thumbprint of writing, and indeed David Abiola Olukoga, his very unique style of art. I apologize for my pronunciation there. So it's an interesting collaboration between this great writer who's written a lot of comics on Drunkduck and this artist who's hasn't done that many comics on Drunkduck, but he has done his own work, and it's a really cool comic, and it has been featured too. So have a look at them both, and have a look at Oblique and see if you can get into it. It's rated T for teen. And that was the featured comic, which was Oblique, great comic by Gene Joke. Right, so next up we have the featured music. So Gun Wallace is going to give us a theme to a comic called Box Dog. So I'm going to tell you about Box Dog. This is a contemplative, reflective, serious, piano-driven intro that leads into a happy, pleasant pop song. First, as drums and bass take over, then the process completes as lead duties are handed off to an electric guitar, and the tune fully opens up. So take it away, Gumwallace, with your happy pop song kind of reflective theme to Box Dog. that was the theme to Box Dog, which is a comic by Box Dog, and it's rated M for mature. Thank you very much for that, Gum Wallace. Okay, so let's see. Strong characters of any gender. I keep wanting to say genre or gender, which is a completely wrong pronunciation. Gender, maybe I could say gender. It's a stupid freaking word. And
I kept thinking jaundice. I was looking in the mirror.
There you go, looking a bit yellow, Baines.
A little yellow.
It's taking away of your usual orange.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, any gender, but also we're going to talk about the awards. So what have you two been doing for the awards? You've been holding it up. The awards should have happened by now, but it's because of you and Tantz that the awards haven't progressed. Is that
we kept asking for
delays? We're keeping the line, so
yeah. Exactly.
You're not letting Nissia have the envelopes. Hoarding those that have all the winners' names in.
Exactly.
And someone stole all the Golden Duck awards or the statuettes.
Look, I'm sorry. They make great shapes for butt plugs. I just want to.
Yeah.
Sorry. It had to be said. It had to be said.
Well, I'm just doing a few presentations, so I know we're about a week away from the due date. Nissia sent a reminder very happily because I was procrastinating.
Okay.
So I've been working very hard on keeping up with comics of mine and also getting these presentation pages done. It's really fun, but I want them to be entertaining. I didn't like what I did last year, really, so I'm trying to make them a little better. No promises, but that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
No worries. Anyone's presentation is going to be better than mine, so you're good.
Okay, I hope they put me right near yours if it's that bad.
Compare and contrast. Actually, I want to have a go at doing a presentation as well, Ben. So, yeah, if you've
Wonderful.
got anything spare.
You can have one of mine. I have 2 left to do, so I'll give you one.
Yeah. I'll have the Bottomless Waitress girls introduce that.
Love it.
Wearing something fancy.
Yes. Well, you can still have the girls enter the red carpet too. I mean, there is a week grace period as well, if you want.
Oh yeah, I keep remembering what I did for last. Was that last year when I did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, like I was saying to you guys before in the Patreon, time blurs in for me. That it's all one eternal present. When I remember that stuff, it's like it all happened pretty much simultaneously. When I joined Drunkduck and I did the became an admin and also did the red carpet thing, all that happened pretty much on the same day. That's
right.
Which was yesterday. Eternal sunshine of the spotless ozone ocean. So you guys are doing presentations for the awards.
Well, and Tantz also does the red carpet, and then those great posters that'll be all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
The red carpet combined into
a
yeah
photo, which I love. That's maybe my favorite part of the award.
Oh, I'm glad. I mean, it's like a puzzle every time I do it, because I want every character to show. I mean, that you can, if you spend the time to look at the group photo, you can see everyone enough. Like not just like a half an eye or half a face.
Yeah.
It's a great photo, yeah. Like you say.
Yeah.
I used to love those big. I mean, I probably say this every year, but those Marvel photos or DC Comics photos with all of their characters, and I just always find them so fun. You can look at everyone. You always can find and focus in on someone new. And with with us, it's all these different artists doing all the characters, so it's all these different styles. It's really fun to see them work together.
It's like Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Where's Waldo? But you're not looking for him. You're just looking around, enjoying.
Yeah, and I always honestly the ones I really look forward to and to putting in the collage of these basically wallpapers are the ones that are too big to fit in the frame. The kaiju and a few others that are like enormous characters and you only see the legs. I really love those.
I
Just
love that too. That's
Bigfoot.
I mean, I've said before that was the whole reason I started that comic. But, oh, this will be in Tantz's poster, and you won't be able to see.
That's amazing, and a really fun comic came out of that. So I'm honored.
Oh, man, as am I.
The kaiju romance comics are fun. I love them. Yeah, we'll have
There's
to
a
have her
giant
guest
robot
starring
that-
in.
Sorry.
Let's go. Sorry, Bones.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. I was gonna say have Minnie guest starring in Bottomless Voyage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, jeez, that would be no, that can never happen. Sorry.
I mean, the money you'd save on fabric for a skirt, having her go bottomless.
That's not happening. No, the comic would lose its mature rating.
The diner is way too small. We can't afford those renovations.
Yeah. And
Nobody
just
knows what we're
imagine
talking about. Yeah, but yeah.
the sheer amount of coffee for like just one cup for her.
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. When she takes a coffee break, cleans the place out. Not good.
Actually, no, that now makes me think, yes, we should, because that would be hilarious to have someone swimming around in her coffee cup. That would just be...
Wait, is she a customer at the bottomless diner, or is she a waitress?
Yeah, as a customer, that would be hilarious. Like,
Okay. Well, there
the
we
fish
go.
sexes would be punched and thrown into the cup, of course, and then we'd have to splashing around and hang on to sugar or whatever else is floating around the cup.
Crossover. Let's get to work.
All right, so yeah, you guys are doing awards presentations, red carpet. You don't know who's going to win. You've got no idea. You're just doing a bunch of like awards presentation stuff like they do in the actual, real awards, where the presenters don't know who's going to win and they present it. Or maybe write some funny text sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, which should be
And we're
fun.
both-
Should be interesting.
We have some nominations as well. Tantz for best completed. For her
Yeah,
album, Moonlight.
Yeah, I do have. Not I. The comic has nominations, and I'm always so I'm bowled over and honored to see so many nominations. I have had a bit of beer, and I don't remember what the nominations are. I
know
think
you're nominated for best completed and probably best.
yeah,
finished.
that I do remember. And as luck would have it, I have such excellent competitors. So
Oh, lovely.
yeah, and it's very likely that I will not win it because
But you're in good company. So
Yeah,
it's
but it will be
an
a-
honor anyway.
yeah, whoever wins, I'll be happy because they are all really, really good completed comics. So
Yeah.
Well, we have Donald Trump in the running too, and you know what's going to happen? He's going to contact both of you guys, and he's going to say, regardless of who wins, he's going to say, yes, but I did win.
yeah,
I did win, and you're going to find some extra
vote.
votes for me.
I wanna find.
There was a
11,000.
conspiracy against me not winning these comic awards, the Drunkduck comic awards, and because I did win, everyone knows I won.
I won by
Every
a lot.
award, every award.
Oh my god!
It was
Oh my
historic
god!
the
That's-
amount I won.
Honestly, I'll be honest. and this is the only comment I'm going to make. I'm already listing all the fast food I'm going to have watching that trial being streamed.
Oh man.
I'm looking forward to it already.
Where the prosecutors prove once and for all that he tried to steal the Drunkduck Awards from the Drunkduck people.
He tried to steal the awards. He won in every category by a lot.
Exactly.
There, that'll teach Trump to go up against us at Drunkduck, the bastard.
Actually, since this is not a democracy and it's an empire and you're the emperor, you will have to be the judge and make a ruling. So,
it'll be execution naturally. That's the Drunkduck way.
oh my god. Oh, so yeah.
Guillotine.
Oh my god. You're going all the
Guillotine.
way, aren't you? But
Yes. Well, it's the humanitarian way of killing people. So we've got to do it. That's there we go. Boom.
that went dark, escalated really quickly.
Yeah, well, it's the ultimate punishment. Anytime anyone makes a transgression on Drunkduck, it's the guillotine.
That's true. That's true. That's why we have it permanently installed at the back. So.
We tried the firing squad; it just wasn't popular.
Yeah,
so.
and it was more expensive. It has consumables. So.
Yes, exactly. Lethal injection. Well, like Baines kept stealing all the injections for himself. So.
Oh, you inject a little bit in your your drink, and it's just don't do too much. Really, I have insomnia, so it helps.
Oh my god!
We tried, killing people with swords, and then Pitface stole all those. So at the moment we're keeping Tantz's hands off the guillotine. So
well, I do have big cigars to take care of, so.
Oh, okay. That's a rather unusual use.
Oh, really big cigars.
With heads. All right, so that's the awards, and that's going to progress pretty good with you guys at the helm.
Nicaea is at the helm.
Well,
which
you
is
guys
the
who
guarantee
are
of
really
quality.
in charge.
Yeah,
she's just the organizer. You guys are the presenters. Everyone knows the presenters. That's who to contact if you want the votes changed, by the way.
Not at
exactly. You have to message them and choose a couple of a bunch of false presenters to present.
Exactly.
Okay, we have
too honest.
to stop it.
Yes. All right, so that's the awards. It's coming up. Red carpet, all that fun stuff. Learn about what comics are really good at various things, and it's a great way of finding out about new comics to read. So, which is always what the real value of awards are, there for finding out about stuff and getting into it. All right.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about strong characters of any gender. So the hardest thing for me to say about this isn't to say of either gender. It's to say of any gender instead of gender or gender. The word is really hard for me to pronounce at the moment.
It's late.
It's not going well in my brain.
Yeah.
Any gender. So yeah, this is a thing. We have this thing of we have to have strong female characters, strong female characters as leaders, and this and that. And you think, well, that kind of thinking normally results in the wrong kind of thing, because you're imagining that a female character isn't any good unless they're strong, and
Well, the
they
strong
deliberately
also,
have to be
yeah,
prescribed in a certain way rather than just a good character.
yeah, and the strong is so misconstrued. I mean, how do you define strength? Uh, and then you have the strong
Exactly.
male character, like super macho man, like
Yeah,
yeah.
and culturally, this is messed up because you have this mythology of the alpha
Oh my
male,
god. Oh,
which
I
is
hate this. Like it makes me like insta enraged. The alpha male.
it's a misunderstanding. Apparently, this is a
Mm.
mythology created by someone who was studying wolves once upon a time. I think maybe in the 60s, 70s, something like that. Studying wolves, and he sort of, or he or she, I don't know, came up with this idea of that there was an alpha wolf and an alpha male, alpha female, and that sort of directed the herd or the pack or whatever it is of wolves. And yeah, and unfortunately that got taken up in culture as things do, and people like ran with it and applied that to everything else. And apparently this person like looked at their research years after, and I mean, and they continued to study wolves, and they found out, oh, okay, I was mistaken. There's no such thing as an alpha wolf. It doesn't happen. There's no alpha male. There's no like this. It's a sort of a matriarchal system there, but there's no. It's just the young, strong ones who are in charge, or the older ones. Sometimes it just
It depends
depends.
on the
It sort of
context, yeah.
changes.
And then
I think it's mainly about the progenitor. So it's like whoever is like the if this particular dog is like the or wolf is the mother of all the rest of them, she's going to be more likely to be in charge. And so that's how it functions, and that's how it functions in all these kind of pack animal kind of
yeah.
situations. It's usually the progenitor
and
rather
Alien,
than
alien
and you
alpha
know
female.
what?
character.
I have two dogs from the same litter, girl and boy. So they, I have been watching them, and I was told by not all, thankfully, but a couple of trainers that they are going to establish a hierarchy, and they are going to be fighting until one submits and the other one doesn't, blah blah blah. This has never happened. So
Okay.
I have seen that either of them might take the initiative depending on context of the situation, uh, or neither. They might just be, on equal standing, if you like. So the girl, Evie, she is the more loud vocal one. She takes no flack from any other dog, and she is the one that starts the altercations. And Alekos, who is the boy, he just backs her up. Uh, if the barking starts to get overwhelming on the other side, he contributes to overwhelm. Uh,
So he just
yeah,
joins in.
but when there are other things, like for example, exploring some new element or thing that they don't know of, he is the one that goes first, and she watches. So what I'm saying is that it depends, and they do not have this whole thing of one of them is the leader, the other always follows and stuff. No, they also often do their
Yeah.
own thing and don't give an f what the other one is doing. Like,
It's
yeah,
complicated, it's context based, it's all kinds of things, and it's because life is a mixture of
hmm
nature and nurture, which means the genetic determinism, but also the environment that the creatures
yeah,
grow up in, and you know, whatever environmental influences happen at the time. So these things work together
yeah. And
to form
now that
us.
you mention it, we always make sure, for example, that there is always two of everything. at the same time. So they never,
So it's not
they never
competition.
need to compete for it. So and now, for example, when I need to feed them something that comes on a spoon, they will wait their turn. It doesn't matter who goes first because they trust that there is for them as well.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
will get their share. They don't have to think, oh no, if I don't get it right away, I won't get
Yeah,
any.
no. It's like a guarantee,
They're
like,
both
oh,
gonna get
he's
some
eating
as well,
something,
so.
I'm getting some right after. So,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Well, I noticed when I had my two cats, Mouse and Esk, my brother and sister, had them for years and years together. It's the same kind of thing. Like he's the Mouse is the boy, Esk is the girl. Mouse was always more adventurous and wanting to explore, and Esk would kind of follow. She was way more timid, but socially, she was always the boss. Like, she would determine, like, okay, which is the best sleeping places and all this kind of stuff. She would like boss him and tell him what to do all the time. So in those kind of situations, she was always in the house. She was always the boss, and she would always be, physically violent and vocal and enforce her way all the time. But yeah, he was the one who would do the hunting and the fighting outside, but he was absolutely submissive to her inside.
Yeah.
And anything that so it's a weird dynamic there. And that's always been the thing. I think with cats, it's usually a similar thing. The females tend to be more dominant socially, whereas the males tend to be more focused on the fighting and on all those kind of aspects against other cats because they're territorial. But inside the house, the females are the boss, and the males tend to obey them.
Yeah.
Like a 1950s
But
couple.
it depends.
Over here, the cat Dimos is the emperor of the house. Both dogs submit to him and also beg him for attention, like, please, let's be friends. And he's like, no, bleep off, squared, like, I'm not in the mood. So he has this. He also has no fear, like, oh, they're going to take my stuff, because we make sure that they don't take his stuff. And he doesn't like them per se, but that's not because they are dogs. That's because he has always been. He's 11 years old now. He has always been standoffish with anyone new for a long while, and then he warms up.
Anyone who steals his territory.
So he's like, now he's slowly warming up to them. But he has made sure that they understand that the law comes through him in this household.
Of course, as a cat.
Yeah,
That's his right.
and they have accepted that, like, both of them. It's like, whereas, which is weird, when they are outside in the yard and there are stray cats, they chase them off, but they submit to Dimos, who is the house cat. So
yeah, so it's not any
No.
cat that they submit to. It's the one who's the ruler of
Exactly.
the house, and those other cats are just like they're not even cats. They're just strangers to the
Exactly.
territory.
Exactly that.
Well, I was going to say that since Mouse's sister has died, now he's the only one. He has taken on all her dominance. So now he is the boss of the house without her, and he tells me what to do. He's lost all his submissiveness that he used to have, which is fascinating. But okay, so that's cats, dogs. Say people as the strong characters. So we eliminate the idea of the old alpha male, which is it's not that it was it's not that it's unpopular now, it's not politically correct. It's just that it's wrong. So it never really worked in the right way, because any character of any gender or sexuality or race, ethnicity, race isn't a thing, but ethnicity, any culture can be a strong character. There's no limit on that.
And the problem that not always, but often comes up in mainstream media and entertainment and stuff is that there is this preconception, this presumption that if you have one strong character of one gender, all they must eclipse all the other ones. They have to be dominant and perfect and strong, quote unquote, which means like leading and the more correct and blah blah in everything, and that doesn't happen in real life. You will have people that are better than you in something, or even in the thing that you are the best at in your life. There will be someone that is even better than you. That's life. That doesn't make you weak. So
exactly, and like you say, there's different context where you are this character's better, that character's better at that thing, that character's better at that thing, and that's a more interesting kind of thing to watch or read or listen to, when that nature of strength is more fluid, when it can change depending on the context. That's really interesting and fun. There's nothing more boring than having that relationship always being static, no matter what the situation or context or social environment. Always this character's the leader, always this character's the follower. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's again exactly. That's very monotone and boring, and I'm trying to remember I sort of have this thing that I vaguely remember how excited I felt when the dynamics shifted because the situation has shifted, and now the expert character was the character that was following, and he said, okay, now it's my turn. I will help you because I know how this thing works. And now the leader becomes the follower and the follower becomes the leader. And it's beautiful because everyone signs. But I don't remember any movie right now, which might be the BR, but it also might be that it's not very frequent anymore. So,
Well, say this is. I'll just bring up an example. It's great sitcom Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think it's called, with Andy Samberg as the main character. It's a great ensemble cast with a lot of good characters. So he's got this relationship with this other character, Boyle. Yeah, his name is Boyle, and so he's the sidekick to Andy Samberg, who is like the main guy. So you've got that kind of relationship, but that isn't a permanent situation. It's context dependent. On certain situations, it shifts, and it's beautiful when that happens. So this Boyle character is quite nerdy, and he's quite into languages, and he loves his food blogging and all that kind of stuff. So when the situation calls for his expertise, like in food or whatever, or weird kind of esoteric stuff, then he becomes the leader in these situations.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. And that's...
I haven't seen the whole series, but I've watched a good chunk of it, and I really like Boyle. I love that actor. I think he's so funny. And I think the temptation would be to make the Samberg character, who's kind of the hotshot detective, he's the breaking all the rules kind of detective. Like, the temptation would be to have him always right. But they don't do that. They don't go the other way and make him always wrong either. And there are a lot of kind of sitcom conventions that I thought they break really well. And I like when Boyle is not just made to be a loser. I like that they give him his moments to shine. I like what they did with the will they won't they couple, where they didn't make it last too long. They actually got them together fairly early. And then their dynamic I thought was interesting. The kind of cliche of the sort of rule following female and the rule breaking male. They do interesting things with that dynamic. I think I don't remember really well. It's been a while since I watched it, but I really like both of those characters, all of those characters, and how they function together in interesting ways.
It's
yeah,
it's great, and it really does like break all the rules of that leadership tropes, because okay, so their leader of in their precinct, whatever, is the guy played by
Andre Braugher
big
or
muscly
Terry
character.
Crews.
I can't remember his name.
Andre Braugher.
Terry Crews, yeah. So he's like the guy who's in charge of the group. Big muscly black guy, bald head, all this kind of stuff, and you automatically expect him to be like, okay, he's gonna be no nonsense, hard ass, swearing at them, and he's the gentlest guy, and he's always talking about his young children and into super nerdy things, which is funny because the actual actor, who is this Terry Crews, who is big and muscly, who looks very scary, is a super nerdy guy and loves painting and drawing.
He is amazing.
He's into nerdy things.
So good. Action guy, and he's so funny too.
And it's amazing. And the leader who is in charge of the whole group, which is
Andre
Braugher. So he's another guy, like very hard ass, very stern, but he again that undermines the leadership kind of tropes by being he's a gay man, and he loves opera, and he is quite cultured, but he has trouble expressing emotion. It's really complicated. And
that's amazing. I have to check that out.
So that was Brooklyn Nine-Nine and how they handle it. So what do you guys think makes a strong character?
Tantz, I didn't have a chance to read your whole news post, I don't think. So what is you break it down for
us. Okay, so I didn't really go into the definition of what is a strong character, because I'm going to do that in the third installment. But basically, a strong character of any gender is one that is memorable, and one that feels like well-rounded enough that you, as the audience, can imagine how they would react in certain situations. What would they do? If you can answer the question, what would X character do if so and so whatever happened, something happened. If you manage to create a character for whom the audience can answer this question, you have a strong character. That is what is a strong character. And of course, a strong character is one that has strengths, flaws, and weaknesses, and an arc, a character arc. So these are the three elements that you need to have. And that goes for all characters of all genders, all sexualities, all everything and anything you can imagine. So
it's not being better than everybody else at everything.
No, that's just boring. Unless the character arc is having to deal with being better than everyone else, and how that alienates you from everyone else. So.
Oh, yes. the Lego Batman movie was quite good. And I think it was kind of about that. Not exactly that, but Batman was very capable and very much a solo act. And his arc was sort of learning to accept that the other heroes have certain gifts that they can bring, and that working with others is actually better and leads to better outcomes. It's been a while since I watched it. I think it's something like that. Though. It was a good
Yeah, I
character
remember
arc.
that.
And that sounds really good because even if you have a character that is perfect in everything, there will be, if you sit down and think about it as a creator, there will be a situation where a single person, no matter how perfect they are, cannot solve the problem. They will need at least someone else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, need to team up, that kind of thing. And that adds a great amount of dimension to your story. So I think that's pretty much what they did
I
with
think
the
so.
Batman.
Yeah, I thought it must
Batman as
be like he ran into trouble and he wasn't able to solve it himself. It must have been that. I don't remember the story, but
I don't either. I think there was something with the Joker, and
yeah, the
he.
Joker was in it. I think it was Superman was there. Robin
Oh,
was
God.
there. It was like a lot of fun
Hmm.
characters. Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Wonder
Okay.
Woman.
But Batman with all his gadgets was able to do kind of everything. And yeah, I don't remember what problem he ran into. It was sophisticated enough that yeah, the plot points don't really stick out at me. It was pretty involved and everything, but that was the basics of his character arc.
And
Fantastic, perfect. He
Will
was
Arnett's
made
voice
to do that.
was
Yeah.
I
heavenly.
have to watch it. Adding it to the list of all
Yes,
the
it's
stuff I
worth
am
it.
behind.
Well worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm doing my own comic, like a Pinky TA, I have. I don't really think about characters in terms of strong characters. This character has to be strong. Yeah, she has to be man with tits. Pretty much, that's her personality. So I deliberately did not ever want to do that kind of thing. I wanted to make her have like an active character, to make her have her own kind of self-direction, her own thoughts, and thinking about situations and stuff like this, not thinking, oh yeah, this is a hard thing to deal with, but I'm a woman, so how would a woman deal with this situation? Like,
That would make great
literally,
comedy,
F
though.
off,
I mean,
that
if you
kind
Yeah.
of
did it
thing.
Sounds funny.
for comedic purposes.
It would. So many people do that seriously. Yeah, I'm a woman, so I've got to handle this in a female way. I've got to like suckle this character, or they do it like as a man woman, which is even dumber. Like, yeah, I can't show sympathy because I'm a powerful, tough character. So no, I'm not going to be womanly. I'm going to be tough and be alpha, so I
Or
can't show
femininity.
affection or sympathy
Yeah.
in any way, because those are womanly traits. Yeah, womanly, feminine traits.
Yeah.
I can't show
The thing
that.
is,
I have to show my powerfulness and leadership. And you think, no,
exactly.
there's no such thing as feminine or male traits, you
Like,
idiot.
if you consider, for example, in Without Moonlight, everyone is, in some context, at some point, everyone becomes either a leader or very independent enough to carry out something important on their own, one way or the other. No matter age, gender, sexualities don't really play much into Without Moonlight, because when you are being shot at, you don't think about romance as much, and so there's that. But even if I had sexualities really in, they will come in volume 2. I will have, for historical purposes, a few characters that have non-mainstream alignments and then sexualities, because I want to show how they were being treated, and they were still going to be like everybody else,
Yeah.
in the sense that they are full people with full personalities, having specific interests, motivations, and so on and so forth. And take, for example, Basil or Estes, and like they are very much male men. At least I hope they. I don't know. Do they come across as male men? I don't know.
I would say
You
so.
tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are certain situations and certain contexts where they can be very strong and enduring, and they get the job done. All the strong character traits, quote unquote. And there are other contexts where they are weak as hell. Like they have huge gaping blind spots that leaves them open to makes them vulnerable, basically. That doesn't make them any less strong.
But see, that's traditionally the way a lot of bad writers would do it. Is I'm really strong, but when it comes to buying clothes, or when it comes to washing up, or I don't know what to do. I just because those are female things. They can't be. Yeah, that's not what Tantz is talking about in this situation. It's because that's if you have problems doing that, like washing up or buying clothes as a man, that's nothing to do with being a man.
Yeah.
That's being.
You are not
not
emancipated
trained
yet,
to do
in
that.
a sense.
That's a cultural issue.
Her original comic actually was called Without Sunlight.
It
was all about that, like learning to do laundry. And she veered into
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like without the Ajax or whatever. But yeah, when I mentioned like the gaping blind spots and that makes them vulnerable and weak, I meant in the thing where they're supposed to perform well, like leadership or like assessment, awareness of situations, or react or not react when they should, things like this. And it comes from their own personal issues that they have to work through in order to become stronger. But that doesn't make them weak as a character. They are strong. Well, I hope at least. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, like there is a point of having these male cultural issues and female cultural issues being an issue for certain characters, because if your character exists within a culture where these things are factors, then it's appropriate to have that kind of thing.
Yeah, sometimes it's important. Like
part of the culture.
Thelma and Louise with two dudes.
Yeah, this character
doesn't really work. Like,
no.
That movie, it wouldn't.
Yeah, excellent movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's culturally specific. Yeah, so we've got to like realize that these things are cultural issues and not gender issues. They are gender because of the culture. So yeah, I worded that wrong. They are gender issues and they are cultural issues, but they are gender issues because of the culture.
Gender is a cultural thing.
In that location.
It is a list of traits and behaviors and roles, if you like, that are ascribed to each gender arbitrarily by the culture. So, yeah,
and
absolutely,
the culture at that time, because these things change. It's fluid.
Exactly.
Like 100 years ago,
like,
200 years
and
ago,
for example, I haven't had a
situation.
scene like this because not yet. But for example, Martha is a sniper, and she has the highest body count out of all the characters there. Like she is the one that has killed the most people in Without Moonlight, barring the Nazis. Okay, we're talking about the side of the good guy. She has easily double digits. So, but she's a very feminine woman, and she will use that femininity to be unnoticed or unsuspected if she needs to, in the sense that there is a scene in volume 2 where they are looking for a sniper, and she hides the rifle and just lets her hair down and stuff, and she's just passed by because the patrol assumes that she is just a weak woman. uh, yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
looking
and
for some kind of guy who is a
exactly
sniper, not looking for a woman. Yeah.
preconceptions.
So she's taking advantage of cultural preconceptions. Yeah. So yeah, so we're not saying like gender doesn't exist in this thing. You know, you should be totally genderless in your roles. No, we're not saying that at all. We're saying understand that this is not just a biological imperative and it's constant and it's always the same. This is because it's cultural, and this is not something that is like inborn necessarily into people. So this
You're
is more
good.
fluid and it's more context based.
And the thing is, you have to keep in mind that
then
even
it
the
makes you a
most
better writer.
independent looking character, in the sense that they can do things, they get things done, they can be on their own, they don't have need of others, blah blah blah. If they are human, and when I say human, I mean you follow characterization as we do for persons, individuals. Even if you have, like, alien races or fairies or whatever, they still basically are designed like individuals within, they have characterization and stuff. A person that comes across this way still needs support, still needs to be accepted, still feels trauma if they are being rejected. They may have found ways, and that happens to a lot of people in reality, ways to cope and handle being rejected, being on their own, being unsupported, or having to support everybody else. But that doesn't mean that they don't have this specific need, which in certain contexts will need to be met. So if you keep that in mind, you can humanize your strong character, no matter what their gender or whatever else that you have ascribed to them. So,
yeah, exactly. Have human needs. Do I don't know. Look at that
very
pyramid thing you guys were talking about a couple of weeks ago when we did the that comic, because that that has stuff about what a character needs and wants and aspires to, and that doesn't matter about
exactly.
gender. Everyone, that applies to everybody. So yeah, that's an important thing. Yeah. Okay. So strong characters of any gender. Yeah, depending on situation, context, cultural context that they happen to be in. And say if you're doing it like I don't know, like Viking characters or medieval characters or Stone Age or whatever, think about the culture that you're depicting in the particular context too. Don't just do the old idea of taking our that isn't even an old idea. Taking our modern cultural context and overlaying, like, for example, it onto
take Empress Theodora of
something really bad when you do
the Byzantine Empire. She is considered one of the strongest women in history, like strongest in terms of personality and in terms of having impacted history. She absolutely was a female in the context of a Byzantine culture. And she used that without posing as a weak woman. She was in every way, I mean, she caught the attention of the emperor by being a powerful, strong female character. But she was a strong female character, and she knew how to bend the rules that were made for her gender at the time, and how to control and lead and affect her environment in much stronger ways than her male husband ever could in specific points in history. So.
Yeah, so she doesn't she didn't go,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have to be strong, so I have to take on a male role. I have to dress in trousers and carry a sword and chew gum and spit fire. And
you do have to take
that's
Hatshepsut.
within the
She
fantasy of a
wore
really bad
the pharaoh clothes, but she
Right.
did it for a very specific reason. And she didn't start off that way. So you have to understand why and when and where anyone does anything. And there is no rule to just don't do this or do that, but find reasons that people would follow, would respond to, rather than, oh, okay, she has to be a tomboy. No, she doesn't. He has to be like a metrosexual, for example. No, he doesn't, in order to be sensitive.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, I was listening to a radio play that was done of The Saint a while ago. I don't know if you guys are aware of The Saint. It's these stories were written in the 1930s, late 20s, about a guy who is like a master criminal, sort of a spy, all this kind of stuff. It's there was a TV series with Roger Moore in the 1960s where he played the character, and they sort of updated it for the 1960s. But say originally it was like these novels written in the 20s and the 30s. And this fantastic radio play, I think it was done in the 2000s. Instead of doing what people normally do and update it for the modern day, these fantastic actors and directors and whatever made it exactly like a 1930s radio serial, with characters acting and behaving and talking in the way of 1930s characters. So they've got the saint, Simon Templar, who is people's idea of an alpha male, because he's the hero, the action hero of the group. And in the modern day, how would we do an action hero? We do them like yeah, I'm the action hero. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, guys, I want you to follow this. I want you to do what I say. No, they've done him in the 1930s way, late 20s way, of having an aloof guy who is, okay, he's public school educated. That's the way the British talk about, but we'd say in Australia, we'd say private school educated. He's sort of elite and classy. So he's aloof, and he talks in a way that in today's world we would consider feminine. So that was all the rage back in the 1930s. Like he's saying, he calls his enemies, oh, angel face. What do you think you're doing, love? Like, oh, I'm sorry, that behavior is not going to fly with me, dear. But he is the tough male character, and he's talking like this, and he's seducing the ladies, and shooting the bad guys, and being an absolute hard ass, but acting in a way in today's world we would consider, like, not we would, but people would consider effeminate, and that would be like homosexual coding for the character in today's world. But that in the 1930s and the 1920s, no, it was a different way of thinking, and the creators behind this thing realized that, and they haven't sought to change that or update it. They have him calling people angel face and doll lips and all this kind of stuff, because kind of all right, that was his being aloof, he's being him talking in that kind of way is showing that he's more superior, more secure in his sexuality, and also slightly demeaning the other characters by assigning giving them these female kind of words. God, My brain's just
Yeah,
dead.
and
Anyway, I found it fascinating. So
I
yeah,
haven't, but I
the
want to now.
Saint. You can
Uh,
anyone can
but
listen to
yeah,
it. It's on
and that's the
BBC Four
thing.
Extra.
You, I like range across genders and across sexualities. What I don't like is the stereotypical things that make everything predictable and slightly, or very, depending on the writing, demeaning. Um, like, oh, okay, we have to have a strong female character, so we will make all the men stupid. Or we have to have a strong male character, we are going to make all the women weak and screaming. Um, that sort of thing. Why? I mean, you don't need that. You don't
Oh,
trust your
yes.
character to shine. Is that it? Like, oh yeah.
Yes, exactly. It shows very little faith in your characters. To yeah,
Mm,
I can only have a
yeah.
strong male character if the women are weak, fainting damsels. Or only this female character can only be strong if all the men just absolute dicks, dumbasses. I think they did that in
Yeah.
the Captain Marvel sort of film.
Generally, there is a
Yes.
tendency, not always, thankfully, but there is
She
a
could only be
tendency
a
to
strong
have, like,
character
if
if the
if
men were not
it is a
able
female
to do
centric,
anything.
the men are weird, like they are off somehow. They don't feel like real people, most of them. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah.
that's been the recent, like the last
Hmm.
few years, has been that the so-called girl boss thing, where they
Mm,
I mean,
have a female character who can't really have an arc because they don't seem to want to give her any flaws. I guess they're trying to make a point, or they're trying to fulfill. I don't know what they're trying to do, but it's very weird, and she has to be better than everyone from the beginning. So it's so hard to root for her or relate
yeah.
to her.
It makes
The
me.
male version of that has existed before that, I think.
Yeah. The male was the first.
Yeah, they were doing that first. Yeah, the girl
Yeah,
version.
oh,
Were more
definitely.
they
There's
are terrible. Like, for
millions of
example,
those.
I
So many
hate,
male boss
I
characters that
absolutely hate what they
you don't
have
even
done
think.
in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where you have this screaming starlet. Uh, like, she didn't need to be this annoying. She didn't need to be this burdensome. Why?
Yeah.
We are already liking this. Yeah.
It went from a very equal situation from the first film, and that's incredibly equal. I mean, I rewatched that and I
Yeah.
couldn't believe how equal that kind of thing was for a lot of it. Because they weren't even together then. I mean, they split up. And she went and did her own thing, and he went and did, and then they come together.
Yeah.
Yeah. To that,
I
in
really
the
liked the
second
third.
film.
Was it
it's
Tantz
a
who
total
said this,
change.
that you liked
How
Elsa in the
disappointing.
Last Crusade as the best
But I was also
female
going to say,
Indiana Jones?
sorry.
Did I hear that
you go.
somewhere else? Anyway, someone said that. I thought maybe it was you, but I totally agreed with that. I loved that character.
I
in
really liked
Last
Elsa.
Crusade. Fantastic, the most interesting. I love Marion. I liked Willie too, kinda. I think it was supposed to be funnier than it came across. Maybe it didn't quite come
It
together.
didn't land.
It didn't land, yeah. But I love Elsa. I love that character. She's very
Yeah.
strong, very feminine, kind of femme fatale. With
Definitely.
very interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I also wanted to say, just taking off Indiana Jones for a minute here, that Tantz's point about having, okay, so this is a female thing,
Mhm.
female driven, so the men are weird. There can be a good reason for that. Say, and the same thing in the other direction too. Like, okay, this is there's male male-centered, and the females are the women are kind of like not like real women. They're kind of just like window dressing, or they're just tropes. So there is a real valid justification for this, because say this is a story told from the perspective of these nerdy guys who are just out to like, I don't know, like get rid of their virginity or something like that, and that's that kind of film. So it's told from their perspective. So there's no law or rule that says a story has to be like more open.
No,
it doesn't have
to be
objective.
a kind of like a universal kind of view of everybody's experience. Like you can have something, it can be just told from a very narrow perspective. So it does show women in the way that these people see women, because that's their point of view. And the opposite, it can be like, a Bridget Jones' Diary kind of thing, where it's female centric and it shows men the way she sees men.
But it really depends on the writing
with this character
and whether you communicate
there is
that.
a justification.
There is a very specific flavor.
So that's not wrong.
If it is like the writer sort of forcing you to see, okay, like the not letting the characters breathe, because in Bridget Jones, or I don't know whoever else, there is this feeling that first of all we are watching this through her lens. We feel that we are in her mind, and so we see the world through her, and that means guys are well. But there is also like a differentiation. They have personalities and they change and they develop as well, even though they are weird or bastards or whatever. The point is not to have a bastard guy. I mean, God knows in real life there are these people. I have my own share of horror stories of men that have approached me in really creepy and weird ways.
We apologize.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and
meeting
Bane's
me in a
sorry
dark alley was very much.
That's on
okay?
us.
So,
It was supposed to be a funny thing, but it just all got mixed up. Rethink.
See, you developed.
After
but what I'm
fourth
saying
or fifth
is,
time that we did that,
there
we
is a
sort of
very
thought,
specific
"Hang on,
flavor to it. Like, I don't know, the writing is somehow weird, preachy, or not even preachy. Even like it's like everything goes through a very specific writer processing that doesn't feel organic. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
It's more prescriptive in a way too, because it says it's not only this is her lens, but this is the way reality is.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it is. These guys are actually like that, rather than this is how she sees them, or these women are actually like that. Women really are like all like bibbos,
and that's the thing.
It's bullshit.
You can write strong characters of any gender, regardless of their. I mean, they could be the most feminine female, or the most effeminate man, or the most androgynous woman, or the most like male man, and be very, very strong characters. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be a gender neutral character that's really strong. They don't have to be
exactly
to be strong. Yeah, characters don't have to emphasize allegiance to one particular gender.
The weakness comes not from
that doesn't make them
weakness
weak
comes not from their alignment, or where they stand on the spectrum of gender or whatever. It's that's all they are. They are basically cardboard characters that have like, here I am, I'm the male man, or here I am, I'm the female, that sort of thing.
Right.
That's all.
exactly. Yeah. Very much so. And it's the difference between good writing and bad writing. Although, when we talk about something that's context specific, maybe the writer is bad about writing genders or strength, but they can be really good plotters, or they can be really good at setting stuff in a historical context or something like that.
Absolutely.
So it's not always a be all and end all. It's just that aspect of their writing can be poor. That aspect can be poor, whereas the other stuff can be
It takes a lot of practice.
So remember that. To be good at everything is very hard.
Right,
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this up now. We were only going to go for 15 minutes after we paused. And
that got so interesting, though, man. Really
time. Absolutely. And I also
we've gone a bit longer. I think
have my
for
soapbox
half an
that
hour.
I carry around to
so.
That's right.
Yeah. Exactly.
As a strong female, that's part of your equipment. That's in your backpack.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you can still send in red carpet art
We'll have a look at the awards.
until Friday.
Your award stuff, so I can steal it and take all the credit, and give my. Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm going to do is, Baines, you send me in your award nomination thing. I'll do it, and I'll make
that
actually win.
Someone would notice because you have to send it to Lucia. I think
you
probably noticed.
No, of course not. I'm not going to trumpet.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, hopefully. All right, so, and thank you very much for listening to our thing about strong characters for any gender. All right. Bye. Quackcast number 651. Bye-bye.